Thanks, Luke. I will keep it short. Just want to say today is a day of joy and celebration. It's an honour and privilege to stand before you all and share a few words on this special occasion. First and foremost, I want to express my deepest gratitude for everyone who's come from near and far to be part of this special day. Your presence here today is a testament to the love and support you have for Joe and I, and we're very grateful. Next up, I'd like to just say a few words about parents. I'd like to acknowledge our parents. They played an instrumental role in shaping us into the people we are today. Sharon and Steve, for your hospitality, kindness and support over the years, especially in the last 18 months with Patrick. I know he's a whirlwind when he arrives in South Shields. So thanks for always being there when we've needed you. I'll try and take good care, but most of all, thank you for giving me your beautiful daughter. I'll try and take good care of her, but it's difficult when she's both the beauty and the brains of the relationship. Next of all, I'd like to say a big thanks to my parents, Sean and Dorothy. I couldn't have asked or wished for two of the most kindest and caring people as parents. It's been difficult at times being away from home for the past 17 years, but I still got that buzz of excitement when I step off the plane and I know I'm going home to see everybody. Most importantly though, I'm still packing my bag with my mum's homemade cakes and jam 17 years later. And long may it last. On a serious note, I hope our marriage will be as strong and long-lasting as yours is. To the best man, Sean, even though we've lived apart for 17 years, I'm still sure you'll have plenty to say about me in your speech later. Thanks for convincing me to have a small stag do, and just in general for being a great brother and friend. I still recall your quip when me and Joe told you we were expecting a baby a few years ago. I think your exact words were, "Congratulations, Joe, now you have 2 kids to look after." So thanks very much, Sean. Next to my bride. As Joe would be the first to tell you, I'm not the most romantic. I wouldn't say she's learned to accept it, more tolerate it over the years. We've come a long way since our early years, from our house share in Bramley to my time living in a bat cave and then a tiny box flat in Leeds to the family of 3 we are today. We've enjoyed many good times together, days out, nights out, holidays abroad, so many great memories over the years. In the past 18 months, we've had a roller coaster of emotions with the arrival of Patrick, wedding planning, all you, and obviously planning a house renovation, all Joe again. But I think we both agree we wouldn't change a second of it. But this is just the beginning of our journey together, and I'm excited for the years ahead and what they will bring. You've brought immense happiness, love and light into my world since I met you, and I'm blessed to call you my partner, my best friend, and now my spouse. Finally, I just want to take a moment to remember and honour those who are no longer with us. Though they may be not physically present, I'm sure their love and blessings surround us today. So with them in mind, would you all please stand and raise your glasses? And join me in a toast to absent family and friends. To absent family and friends. Finally, I would like to thank you all again for celebrating with us today. And could you please raise your glasses for my wonderful wife, Jo. Thanks very much.
This is and I'm regretting letting Conor go first. But before I get into my bulk of my speech, I got this lovely little note card the other day looking for something to write it down on. And I thought the caption said, "Eradicate the patriarchy," which I thought was a really badass sort of slogan for a bride who was giving her own speech at her wedding. But when I actually got it home, I found out it actually says, "Radiate positivity."
Should have went to Specsavers.
Which is perhaps a different vibe to what I was going for. So after booking in that delayed eye test at Specsavers, I set about writing it. And so for the next 5 minutes, I will radiate some positivity to you all. So first of all, I do just want to reiterate what my husband said. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for travelling all this way. Thank goodness we did actually get the weather and I didn't have to make my quip about the miserable Northern English weather. But we do really appreciate you all being here. Thank you to everyone who made the church ceremony so amazing. I think you'll all agree that Father Walker gave an absolutely wonderful service today. He's not here, but thank you, Father Walker. Thank you to my Uncle Paul for the lovely first reading that he did for me. That was lovely. And also Sive and Max, who did a fantastic job with the prayers of the faithful, so thank you very much. So now a big thank you to my parents. You've supported me all my life. Done so much for me, even today, every day. Thank you for all your help planning this wonderful day and to make this dream wedding dress of mine a reality. I never dreamed I'd be able to wear something as beautiful as this. And also just an apology because I'm very sorry that I made you wait so long in between Conor and I getting engaged and standing here today. Obviously there was very good reason, because it was actually my mum and dad who suggested this venue. Conor and I had seen 3 in Leeds, but we just hadn't quite found one that was suitable. So mum and dad suggested that we go for a tour of here. We booked the tour, and the moment I walked into the room, I burst into tears. So after texting Conor to tell him I found the venue, I went straight home to take a pregnancy test. And surprise, surprise, that pregnancy test was positive. And he is sitting there, chomping on his duty there with me, ma'am. So very sorry that you had to wait so long, but I do hope that being grandparents to Patrick for the past 18 months has been a good trade-off for that. Thank you now for my in-laws. To the Walshes, you've been so welcoming to me, even after finding out that I was a vegetarian. Poor Dorothy had her work cut out at the start, but I think she's definitely found her stride now. We were at another family wedding last year. I was chatting to Paul, my brother-in-law, and he said to me that I couldn't have picked a nicer family to marry into. And that's true, so thank you very much. And please spare a thought for my poor husband, who legally has to share all of Dorothy's homemade cakes, bread and jam with his wife, despite how much he might protest that his mum gave them just to him and only for him. Now, Luke, thank you to my brother. He's not just my brother, but he is also my best friend. And I want to thank him for planning me a lovely hen party, for the fabulous hat that he ordered me, which had everyone on the streets of York gasping in amazement. But particularly thanks for Luke for arranging the wonderful music for the church service there. It was just so beautiful that when he first played it to me, I cried. And then I had to listen to it 100 times over the past fortnight to make sure I didn't cry today. But of course I still did. So there's really no one else that I'd have chosen for my man of honour today, Luke. So Thank you very much. And even though today it's Conor sitting next to me in the hot seat, could have been a very different story if Luke had had his way. Because when Luke was a bit younger, he fancied himself as a bit of a matchmaker. So he took the time to write, it was back in the days before email, a formal letter to WWE to inquire as to whether Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was married. Because his older sister had a huge crush on him. That was news to me at the time. The crush on Dwayne did come a little bit later. So, despite Luke's best efforts to bag me and wrestle her for my husband, Dwayne and I didn't hit it off. But he was a very strong contender. But I did choose Conor instead. And here are a few of the reasons why. Conor is a very kind person. He's got a very kind heart and a very gentle nature. And you'll just see that animals love him and flock to him. I don't think he's ever met an animal that he hasn't tried to feed. So, over the years, we've ended up feeding hedgehogs, foxes. I've seen him chasing around the cats in the neighbourhood with pieces of ham. And at one point, we did have a whole colony of squirrels who would bang on the doors or the windows when they wanted fed. So we had to start closing the windows at night because we were worried that we'd wake up one morning with a squirrel in between us in bed. There was one day I'd gone up north to visit family, and I opened up WhatsApp to find a photograph of the cutest, cuddliest, one-eyed black and white cat with a message from Conor saying, "I found him on the road, what do I do with him?" And then went on to have the best 2 days of his life until we found his owner. And it turned out that Norman, that was the little cat, had been dumped 4 miles from home during the course of an acrimonious breakup with his owner. And had it not been for Conor, who found him on the street after 2 days on the streets and realised straight away something was wrong, I don't know what would have happened to that poor little cat. And that just sums Conor up. That's the kind of person that he is. Conor's also very thoughtful. As he's already said, we're not a very romantic couple. We're not really one for grand gestures. We never had a big proposal. We just had a bit of a discussion. We bought the ring. And we agreed to get married. And we've actually had to have a little practice at being romantic for the day. And that isn't a joke. But we do find other ways to show that we love one another. And Conor is very good at these little things. So a few years ago, after I completed the London Marathon, I was on a bit of a running buzz. I signed up for a 10-mile race where we live. And it was, I think it was the last weekend of July. It was the middle of a heat wave. What was marketed to me as an undulating race turned out not to be very undulating and more very, very hilly. So as I hobbled back to the flat on my aching legs and pushed open the door, went into the living room, and what did I see but an absolutely massive packet of flaming hot Monster Munch just casually laid out on the sofa, ready for me to come back. And honestly, I don't think I've ever loved him more than I did in that moment. So Conor is also, he is a wonderful father, but I always knew that he would be because I first knew him as a fantastic uncle to, it was Sive and Kiva at the time. Obviously now Dervla and Oliver have arrived as well. I know they all absolutely adore him. They're so lucky to have him as their uncle. I've got a very vivid memory of the first time I went over to meet Conor's family, and Conor and Sive were playing a game which involved Conor pushing her around the floor, pretending that she was a mop, and singing a song about how he was cleaning the floor with her. And certainly before Patrick was born, whenever I used to go back to visit, I would never get a look in because he would just be outside running around, having water fights, taking the kids to the shop to buy sweets, although I don't know who that was more for. I don't know whether that was more for him or for the children. But generally just running around, having all sorts of fun stuff while I was sat on the sofa with a lovely cup of tea and a few slices of Dorothy's Battenberg cake. Quite happy. But what can I say about Conor as a dad? He changed overnight after Patrick came along. I just don't think I've ever seen such a radical change. And so much love. Patrick loves him so much as well, and every time I pick him up from nursery, the girls say he spent the whole time with a toy phone going, "Hi Dada, hi Dada." Or like I'll just be milling around the house and all I can hear is Patrick just laughing, these big belly laughs from the living room. And then I walk in and they're just chasing each other around, or like Conor's got him over the shoulder and throwing him up in the air. And they're just, just in there having the great crack. Patrick, he comes to me when he's upset, when he wants comfort, but when he wants the crack, he's straight to his dad. He's straight there. So thank you, Conor, for everything you do as his dad. So while today so far has been fantastic, but I'm not going to say it's the best day of my life because we've got him and that's all we need. And for this reason, my wedding day doesn't feel like the start of a new chapter, but it feels like the consolidation of a family. And I just can't wait to see what's next. As husband and wife, and not just Mummy and Daddy. And I do have some gifts for you. So, that's your first gift. If you'd like to open that one. But you do. I don't know if you want to open that now, but that's the first gift.
That was it. You want me to leave it later?
Would you like to open it now? Have we got time?
Yeah. Bosco. Bosco was a kids' TV puppet back in the 80s and 90s in Ireland. So, yeah, it's my favourite mug when I go home. So, yeah, I've got 2 Bosco mugs. So thank you very much, Joe.
I haven't that prepared, so I'm just going to go from here. First of all, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to everybody here to celebrate Conor and Joe's wedding. I hope you have a very enjoyable day and night, etc. Joe, I've known her for a good number of years, and she's really been part of the family for the past a long number of years now, really. So I just want to take the opportunity of this occasion to warmly welcome her into the Walsh family. You're very warmly welcome into the Walsh family, Joe. Conor, it's Conor. He's slightly laid back, maybe a lot laid back, but anyway, I have to say that he's a kind-hearted person and a very good-natured person and a good-humoured person. And we always got on very well together. We had great crack. In our young days, when I was a bit younger, we used to play a bit of football together, etc. And I have to say, Joe and Conor are loving and caring parents to baby Patrick, who we all love, and we love to see them coming over every so often for a few days. But Patrick is great fun and great crack, and so that's all I have to say, really, because what was said is sufficient. What What Patrick?
Sean.
Are you all right?
Sean. Sean,
I ju-
just wave to him.
Another Sean. I just finished. I just want to, before I finish off, I just want to wish Conor and Patrick many years of health and happiness together in the future life. And I just finished with an old Irish saying, may peace and plenty bless your world, with joy that long endures. May all of life's long seasons bring the best to you and yours. Thank you very much.
I'm 4 out of 5. So when I googled how to do these type of speeches, it gives a list of jobs to do. Welcome the guests, already done. But again, I will welcome everybody for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank the contributors, everybody who's contributed to the wedding so far. Where we're here, just going through it. Yeah. Especially the hairdressers. We've been here at 7 o'clock this morning doing the hairs, and we've had the makeup. Been in our house about 3 or 4 hours, but you've got to admit it really was worth it, because doesn't Conor and Sean, don't they look absolutely I've then apparently got to talk about the bride. This is here. I've then got to talk about the groom, and then at the end, I have to, when I've finished, I've got to toast the bride and the groom. What could be easier? Dead easy. Half the job's already done by my 3 predecessors. However, unfortunately, I didn't factor in Sharon was helping me with the speech. She nabbed at me notes on Tuesday night, even though they were just notes, and she gave me a list of do's and don'ts. Always a pleasure, Sharon. So, first one was I had to write it out. I couldn't just write on the phone. I'm not allowed to do that. Apparently that's not classed as acceptable. But I've got my phone anyway. So, with this in mind then, I'm going to go through them in order. So I'd like to welcome everybody, family and friends. Thank you for travelling from such far places as Oxford, Jarrow, Hebburn and Tyndall. And a special thank you to the Walsh family. I know it's only a fleeting visit to the North East, but in those 2 or 3 days, hopefully, Patrick, I'll sing that one song. Hopefully, you've been able to experience some of our local beauties, not just Joe. We've got the coastline. We've got our beautiful parks. If you've got a chance to see, we've got 3 beautiful parks down here. We're proud of South Shields. You've got the fairground. You sampled local cuisine on Tuesday night. We had, as everyone from the North East knows, we had sandwiches from Greg's. We had pies from Dixon's. Local firms. So I'm sure, sampling all, seeing the beauty of the North East, I'm sure you will agree that the rain in South Shields is as good as anywhere in the country. So, where are we here? So, thank you, Jesmond Dean House, for what we're about to receive. Now I've got notes here saying orders. I'm not allowed to say anything embarrassing about Joe. Apparently so. So, with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, please be outstanding. No. I wrote a speech for Joe's 18th birthday, and when I was asked to do this, I thought, I'll go and get that speech. So I took my memory stick or flash drive or whatever they're called these days, down to the local library, and I plugged it in. And then suddenly I remembered that it was 2006, and I'm not even sure I'd put a television then, let alone flash drive. So I don't have the speech. So I'm trying to rely on my memory, but I've got great memories of our Joe, and I don't know how I'm going to cram them all into this 45-minute speech, but I'm going to try my best. We'll start with Joe's birth. Very traumatic. Not for me, for these two. The memory was when Sharon was finally told you've got a daughter, the comment was, is that a boy or a girl? She didn't know. She was absolutely zonked out of it. The emotions that I went through at the time. and loads and loads of things. My first daughter, my first child, my wife's all right, my daughter's all right. This is the best day of my life so far. And one of the things I remember thinking was, one of these days, God willing, I'm going to be walking this little girl down the aisle. And I always remember that. And today I did it. How proud. I feel again. How proud was I? We had the practice on Tuesday night, and I was actually in tears on Tuesday night. Jo said she's been crying about 100 times when she's heard this. I've only heard it twice. So how proud was I to walk down the aisle? But I never expected to walk down the aisle to the music from Joanne. That really was a curveball. Never ever knew that was going to be a case. But I said to Jo, why? She says, I just love the music. I thought she was going to say, I still like dinosaurs, Dad. So I thought that was it. However, on the cutting room floor, so to speak, we found other songs that didn't quite make it to the Red March. You're wondering now, aren't you? And I found one which Conor had suggested was by Bucks Fizz. Any ideas? Making your mind up. Right? Joe's, especially after this morning's episode, was by Del Shannon. Any ideas? Runaway. But my choice would have been, and I know Connor's a big fan, U2. Any ideas? The Sweetest Thing. So that would be my choice for a song. Now, got a few little extracts from Joe's, and I've been told to keep this clean. It's okay. But these are honest. This was Jo when she was growing up. We talked about her first love. She meant about Dwayne Johnson or whatever. Jo was a massive Power Ranger fan, weren't you? No, I can't remember. Does anyone remember the Power Rangers or not? Yeah. I can't remember which order you like. Was it the green Power Ranger? The white Power Ranger? The same guy, the green, no. Joe's fans were the Power Rangers. So they were her first loves of Power Rangers. We also, as a family, we're not betting people, but we always used to have a bet on the Grand National. And was Little Joe won it one year? Was it Little Joe? Anyway, Joe used to have a bet in the Grand National, so as she's meticulous, she started looking at the form in the papers, and then she said, use horse racing, people who don't know horse racing may not get this, she says, I can't put money on this horse because it's handicapped. So you can just imagine what she was thinking of this three-legged horse coming out. And Joe also was a massive fan of goldfish. So we had this tank in our room, and it took into the bedroom. It did not stink. And these goldfish, what were they all called, James? All called James. And as goldfish do, all died. First one that died, got a proper burial in the back of the garden. Priest wouldn't come, but not the way, buried in the back of the garden. After that, for want of a better word, they got buried at sea. Eventually, when she'd gone to school. And the other main memory I have is, I think Sharon was away with our Patricia for the day. And Jo had got one of these magazines out, Hello or whatever they were, and decided she would cut her own hair. How old are you then? 5 or something. So I go upstairs, and of course it's my fault. And Jo's got she didn't have a fringe, she had a coastline. Or whatever, her hair was all over. So we had to get in touch with Auntie Judy, didn't we? To come round and sort Jo's hair out. So these are just little memories of it. Now we'll move on. Jo's, obviously, she left home after university, she went to York, took a job as an admin assistant in a firm of solicitors, and then took her law examinations, got a job with the CPS, and is now a senior prosecutor with the CPS. And we are so proud of her. And there's a lot of times she can't talk about her work until after it, but every now and again she'll send us a little link, and it'll be something like, man got 14 years for whatever, because she deals with sex and crimes, sexual crimes, and she said, Dad, that was me. I was the one who put that case together. So we're absolutely delighted. What a worthwhile job that she's doing. I have to cut the next bit out of it, unfortunately. So I'll just jump straight on to Patrick. Patrick Bede came along 18 months ago and said he's never been away. He is an absolute joy, is our Patrick. And Joe's great-grand used to say about Luke and Joe, her phrase for them was, "You are my share of the world." And Patrick, you are our share of the world. We're delighted to have you. And Joe, sometimes she always used to say to us, "Am I being a good mum?" And am I being a good mum? And we used to like the royal family. I'm Jim. I'm a more miserable version of Jim, right? We've got Barbara here. We've got Bone-eyed Anthony over there, who didn't get up. But our Denise says, "Mum, am I a good mum?" And what we're saying is, I'm not going to say you're a good mum. What I'm going to say is, you and Conor, you're a perfect couple. The love that they have for that boy, and the affection, the love that he shows him back. He loves his grandparents, he loves his aunties, uncles, but he's just a mummy and daddy's boy, and we're absolutely delighted to have him. Now, I need to say something complimentary about Conor. So, ladies and gentlemen, please be outstanding. No, we'll not do that. Right, I'm sure I've got something complimentary about you, Conor. Yes, I have. So, talking to Sean and Dorothy on Tuesday night, they said, apart from going to London and occasionally going to Leeds, they've never been to the North East. I think that rubs off on their son, because I think he gets a nosebleed every time he gets past Harrogate. So, Conor, now you're married wife, we hope to see an awful lot more of you. But we know we're going to, because Conor's always excuse for us, I can't come up, because Leeds are playing at home. However, you always bring me season tickets. But let's think about it, Conor, over the next few years, there are 4 more lower league teams in the North East than there are and when you are. So we welcome you to grounds like Sunderland and Middlesbrough, and in a couple of years' time, Hartlepool and Darlington, and perhaps even South Shields, as these continue a descent. But welcome, Conor. Now, we'll mention people not here. It's been almost 3 years now since we sadly lost our only 100% Irish person in our family. And we would have had another one here today, but unfortunately she's ill. So we've been waiting for another, because we're part Irish, we've been waiting for another 100% Irish person in the family. And we're really looking forward. We have a couple of amateur Scotsmen in the family. You know who you are, right? For sure. But we want another 100% Irishman. So Conor, we welcome you into our family right, as our new 100% Irish. So welcome Conor to the McGarry family. Now, I think that's it. So I would now say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please be upstanding and raise your glasses. Join me in a toast. Joe and Conor.
Cheers. Thank you all. I just want to say it's an honour to be Con's best man today. I thought he would be really nervous this morning, and he's always still the same, never ruffled, always calm, and did a great job all day. But what can I say? It's been a great day so far, and Joe, you look absolutely beautiful today. And just like to officially, just great to have you part of the family. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. I know everyone else has done a lot of thank yous and stuff, so it's just the two of you. It's such a good match together. It's a great match together. You love, you such shared interests together with, musicals, love of a fancy dress. Even the fancy dress you did was one of the best when you were Donald Trump. That's still one of the best fancy dresses I've ever seen. But even like that surprised me with Con, because I wouldn't think Con would do fancy dresses and that, but then we'd see him all dressed up. It's brilliant. But anyway, obviously you share a great passion for running and that together, and these are always hitting the 5k runs, the park trails and stuff, and obviously you're hitting the marathons, Joe. And I know from Con that's a bit of a step too far from him on the pain endurance and that. Con likes a bit of an easy life, but they're together we've together 9 years now, and I remember when they first got together. Obviously, I was living away, and so Con's living away a long time away. But we'd only be home together when we were home together back in Ireland, and we see these little clues. We didn't know he was going out with Joe at the time or whatever. But Con's he's a very guy that doesn't go off the deviation. You know, all his life he'd eat a spud, boiled carrots, and a bit of meat forever. But then when he was coming home, we were home together. He started kind of requesting little curries and bologneses, all these little exotic foods, more exotic foods. And so we were telling him, what's going on here? There's something weird. And then he started coming back, and his style started changing. If you know Con from years ago, he used to use sports gear and didn't really, wouldn't be into his treads at all. The only money he'd spend money on is sports gear, 100%. But he started coming back in these ankle boots and like a denim jacket with a woolly collar. And then he'd V-neck t-shirts. And I have to say, some of the V-neck t-shirts he had were down to nearly his belly button. And he didn't wear one of those after a night out again, after the lads ripped him out of it. But anyway, but look, it all made sense when we found out he was going with Joe. Joe was great style, and we know where we got it from, but it all made sense, and we were chuffed when he told us he was going out with Joe when we met her, and we were just delighted. Plus, it's great to see how Con's, grown and improved over the years, and it's definitely from the good woman he has by his side. That's 100%. But yeah, brilliant. But when I think of Con, probably over the years of childhood and teenage years and stuff, there's a few things that kind of jump out at me with Con. Like Con's, he used to love a chewy sweet, and he every summer he'd be just chewing the head off himself with like these stingers and chewits and all that, and loved them. And then is mad for sports. When we were growing up, he's just eating and breathing sports, and he'd be playing football, and we'd go and get the strawberry nets and put them on the tree, and he'd be out in the garden with his old sports gloves and nets and mad for all the best gear. And that probably started off his collection. He collects football jerseys, over 100 football jerseys and that. But he's the most calmest man I know. He's never at and really phased him. If he's missing flights, missing check-ins, missing out, it just goes by him like that. It's just slow motion. But if he touches sports gear, the man is just completely ruffled. He goes bananas if he touches sports gear. But also, I suppose another thing over the years is he always had this uncanny knack of getting away with doing nothing around the house at home. I don't know how he got away with it, but he used to get away with everything, blue murder at home. And I was always thinking, how does he get away with that? Because, I was like, how did he get away? And it's like, what did he do? But then there was 1 year, it was like 13 and 14, he spent 3 months we have a fence, there's about in front of the house, about 35 yards long. He spent 3 months painting the whole fence. That'd take 2 days. And my man and dad never asked him to do anything again after that. And what? He's pulled the wool over our eyes all this time, because I see him with Patrick. He's well able for it. And he's just always got the easy life. But fair play to him. But I know Joe keeps him in line, and Joe will make sure he pulls his weight around. But anyway, we've had some great trips. Myself and Con, we go to a lot of concerts abroad. We went to concerts abroad, big Pearl Jam fans, and go to the Euros with brother-in-law Gary as well. And even at the Euro, Con's always straight. Well, me and Gary, we'd wake up and we'd have a can for breakfast and get ready for the game. Con would have his Blueberries Erling kit on and a bottle of water, ready for the day to hit the game like he's ready, But as Con mentioned, the one trip that he does love is coming home, and he's in England now 17 years. And it's a long time, but he's consistent at coming home, and it's fantastic that he gets home every 2 months to see his folks and the family. But as Con said, Con didn't really relay much of what he was doing. When Con's home on holiday. I have to say that. Con is home on holiday. He puts on his tracky bottoms, he goes upstairs, picks out 3 or 4 jerseys he's going to wear for the week, totters around the house, just completely potters around the house for the week. Don't even ask him to go for pints, because if you ask him to go for pints, he's going to be tired for a couple of days, and it's ruining his home time, 100%. But as he said, he loves coming back with a bag full of food, and it's great. The man always sends him back with a bag full of food, and there's always sometimes there's always the request from Joe for a Battenberg in there as well. But these things come to an end. All good things come to an end. Even though he gets home and he gets pampered, there's a new prince in town. And a well-deserved new prince in town. That's me buddy Patrick right there. And you know what? It's great to see, because Patrick's way better crack than Conor home, I'll tell you that. 100% Patrick. But no, I always with Connie's, like, I always wonder, because he's been away for so long, I was like, how does he survive over there? I always wonder, because he's always on holidays, how does he survive? But when I see him with Patrick and how he is, and like the great father he is, and he's just taken to it like a duck to water, and it's just fantastic to see. I'm so proud of you, brother, you know. And but it's the same for Joe. It's great to see them as a family, and I wish them all health and happiness. And best of luck. Thanks. To the bride and groom.